Hi, I'm Brian from Atomic-Moto, and I'm here to do a mission brief on lugged enduro soles. Now what I have in front of me is a pile of 4 different boots from 4 different brands with one thing in common. They all have a lugged or enduro sole on them. And this has been coming on for a long time. Enduro boots have been available for a long time, but they really caught fire in about 2020. Now they're one of the most important features that you have to have in a boot, and we think it's really cool because I like to bag on motocross guys because they drive to the track and they ride around for 15-20 minutes at a time, and then they sit on the tailgate, put their flatbed Bill hat on and chat, where guys that do hard enduro, cross country, adventure touring, dual sport, that kind of thing. We're on our bikes, long periods of time, all kinds of terrain, a much less controlled environment. And there's lots of times where we've got to walk around or forbid, sometimes push the damn bike. And so these enduro soles are one of the most welcome trends. First of all, I'm going to start with the oldest one in the pile, sole design that is, and that is the CDX3 Enduro. And if you look at this sole, it may look familiar because it is the traditional pattern of a Vibram hiking sole. And this is good because it gives you traction off the motorcycle, but this is our least favorite design for a couple reasons. First of all, there's a big heel step here, and that means sometimes when you go to slide your foot forward, it hooks on that heel step, and it's a little harder to get it far forward enough to get under the shift lever. The second thing is when you're going to slide it forward to operate the controls. For example, you're coming into a corner hot, you want to turn with the back brake by locking it up a little bit and spinning the back end around. If your toe is on the foot peg and you do not deliberately lift it up and slide it forward, it can hook on here and not go forward, and you're stuck trying to move it. So this design has a lot of lugging. It's great for traction off the bike, but it has some functional deficiencies when you're on the bike. And that brings up the more modern designs of enduro soles. I'm going to start with this Guerney. And you can see what they did. Guerney has a smooth section on the inner side of the sole where your foot rests on the foot peg. There's a little bit more gradual angle on the heel. There's lugging on the heel and then lugging on the outer side of the sole. So you roll up onto this part and you get some good traction. The Alpinestars Tech 7 Enduro here, this is a bonded sole, a little different design, more curved to the front of it, but it too is a hybrid. There's a smooth area in the foot peg zone here, and a very gradual transition to the heel. It's easy to get up onto the heel of this one. There's some lugging on the heel and then some lugging in the forefoot, but this is perhaps the mildest. And then the Forma design, which is really clever, also is kind of in between the Guerney and the CD, but a little closer to the Guerney. They have a zone where you rest on the foot peg, and on the inner side where you can slide your foot forward and backward. A minor step to the heel here, and then they have lugging in the center zone of the design where you're able to get a little bit more traction on the ground. Now, one thing about lug soles, they are a nice feature to have, but they aren't as necessary as many people perceive for a couple reasons. First of all, this is a CD standard sole, not an enduro sole, not a lug sole. But if you look on it, you can see there are a good amount of ridges to it. So you get some traction from those edges. And on this Forma Pilot, which I have right here, this is another bonded sole design, but it's got some pretty good ridges around it also. And the second thing is that these rubber soles, they're all of a compound where you get a decent amount of traction, and not as much as something that has lugging on it, of course, because that has more edges to grip. But you do get a decent amount of traction for using a standard sole. Now, what's the purpose of me saying that? It is simple. If you can find a boot model that you like that has a lug sole, grab it, buy it. You'll be stoked. You ride off into the sunset. But if you're choosing between 2 boot models and you like one model more, but another model you don't like as much has a lug sole, pick the better boot, not the better sole. In other words, this is a great feature to have. Really glad that manufacturers are starting to offer it, but don't let it solely, drive your boot choice. Thanks for tuning into this mission brief from Atomic-Moto on lug soles, and as always, we hope to see you out on your bike.